Hi everybody, welcome to my first official Feeling Fab Friday video. I am excited to be here with you and to talk about today's topic. I wanted to just come on today to talk about something that is really near and dear to my heart. And I posted the quote on Instagram today from A Course in Miracles that says, I am never upset for the reason that I think. And I love that quote, and I think it's great because it's true. We're never really upset for the reason that we think. And oftentimes we have a reaction that is triggered to something from our past or something deeper. So even though we are having a reaction to whatever it could be, something not showing up the way that we want it to, disappointment from a friend, or a car pulling out in the middle of the street, whatever it is, it typically is not the thing that we think that it is. And there's usually a connection to it. And I want to talk about the importance of emotional fitness. So this is a term that defines, just like you would thinking of physical fitness, except it's emotional fitness. So oftentimes people are just walking around reacting to everything that comes their way in life, and they don't really have a choice around it. They're not really thinking ahead about it. They're just reacting to a stressful situation. And usually their reactions are not healthy, helpful reactions, and this causes detriment to personal relationships, jobs, children, family. Everyone around you is affected by this lack of emotional fitness. And we want to get to the point where we have a choice around our responses, and that we actually feel like we can not ignore our emotions. So I'm not talking about stuffing those emotions away. I am talking about embracing them and feeling them fully, but then being able to communicate those emotions and your experience to someone in a healthy way without making them wrong, without really destroying the relationship in the situation. So I believe this takes two parts. It takes one part energetic and emotional work, internal work that you do through understanding what your triggers are, getting to the roots of your childhood issues, being able to exercise a level of reaction that is healthier, and learning how to communicate properly, and also getting rid of the things in your nervous system that are causing you to respond in that way. Okay, so that's part of it, which we'll talk about in a minute. The second half is practical physiological help with your hormones. So oftentimes when we have an imbalance in our hormones, it can affect so much about our mood, our anxiety levels, things that we're worried about that we wouldn't usually be worried about if we have really high progesterone and really low estrogen. We're tending to worry more and fear more about things, be more irritated with our partners and our spouses. So that can cause some issues. Also, when we have damage in the liver of any sorts, of a blockage or a fatty liver or anything like that, the liver is really the source of energy for us, either for depression or anger and aggression. A lot of emotion is stored there. So if things are not moving properly in the liver, you can expect it's going to show up in the way that you respond. Okay, so a lot of women will experience different times of the month, okay, that time of the month where they have more of a serious reaction, and they're going to be more irritable. They're going to be more snappy, and it becomes a joke, right? Like, oh, it's that time of the month and your man avoids you. Well, we don't really want to live that way. Okay, that's not optimal. And I want to tell you that there is another way. And I used to be enslaved in this myself, and my hormones dictated my life. They dictated the way I responded to people. They dictated my relationships, and also my lack of emotional fitness and my ability to really take a second and recognize what the true root of my issue was and identify it and be able to handle things was not there at all. So when I went through my first divorce and I had a lot of stress, both physically and emotionally going on, I had anxiety attacks. I wasn't sleeping properly. This was what got me started on my hormonal journey to helping people, was this experience that I had of being completely out of control. And I wasn't able to handle anything. I wasn't able to maintain my job. I lost a ton of my friendships. I put so much pressure on everybody else to make me happy. And, it was not a good time for me. And I was really encouraged through an experience that I just went through. So we had some fires here in Santa Barbara locally, and there was a lot of stress. Everybody was under a lot of stress. And, I had to maintain my work and still work with that going on. I also had an issue happen, personal issue with my daughter, and something that would have typically caused me to really get into a panic. And I definitely had a moment of feeling my feelings about it all, but I realized what was in control which were the controllables, which I could control, and what was out of my control. And I really was able to handle the whole situation completely different. I wasn't snapping at people left and right. I wasn't damaging my work relationships. I wasn't damaging my friendships. I was able to identify and deal with the stressors as they came, which was a huge step for me. Okay, it was awesome to see that growth. And it's taken years for me to get to this point, years of inner work and years of learning hormonal balance. And I don't want it to take that long for you. I want you to understand what it is that you need to do now. So I just wanted to kind of bring this to the forefront of something that you guys can do. And part of that is when you have a strong emotional reaction, I want you to stop, okay? And I want you to think about why you're having this emotional reaction. So when you feel strong pull emotion, strong anger, strong sadness, whatever it is, I want you to stop me. What is really coming up for me here? So it could be something at work of somebody, putting too much on your plate. They're not paying attention to you. Whatever it is, you feel taken for granted, and you could have a different way of handling that. Some people shove it down. Some people blurt it out. Whatever it is, whatever you're used to doing in your childhood, typically that's what you're going to do. So I invite you to stop and ask yourself, what am I really upset about here? Am I really upset about all this extra paperwork, or I'm upset about the fact that somebody is not acknowledging my efforts, and I feel taken advantage of and I feel used? And that stems back to, oh yeah, my dad was always never appreciative of the work that I did, and I always felt taken advantage of, or whatever it is for you. So I guarantee that you could find a hook as to a reason why you're having this really strong emotional reaction to begin with. So that's the first step. Take a moment and ask yourself why. What's the root? And try to see if you can trace yourself back. Then you can actually kind of deal with that issue, what's going on with you internally, before you lash out and try to deal with it externally. So oftentimes when we're upset, we're having an emotional response, we want to look to an outside source to solve the problem instead of seeking to solve it ourselves. So I want to challenge you to try to give yourself what it is you need before you're looking to someone else. Okay. The other practical thing you can do for anxiety levels is to take B vitamins. So B vitamins, niacin, these type of B vitamins are really helpful for anxiety. And if you have anxiety, you could be depleted in B vitamins. And there's a lot of other things that go into that, but that's one thing I can give you. To get a good B vitamin complex, I recommend Thorn Basic B to my clients and my clients is what I recommend. It's great. It's through Thorn. It's a great complex, and it is one of the most bioavailable form of B vitamins. So a lot of vitamins you're taking are not even getting absorbed into your body. So you should stop and read and look at what is in. And you want a methylated form of B, especially if you have liver issues. You might not be methylating. It's a fancy term, but that's 2 keys I can give you. Okay, so I want to invite you. I have a free webinar coming up next Wednesday, January 3rd, on how to be the ideal hormonal specimen. Okay, that's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to post the link on my Facebook page for you to come and join. I'd love to have you there. We're going to go into how to achieve hormonal balance and how to feel calm, confident, and in control on the regs. All right. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to post them below, either here on Instagram or here on Facebook. Let me know what your questions are around emotional fitness and really figuring out why you're upset in the first place. And I invite you to join me back here next Friday for another Feeling Fab Friday, so that we can focus on getting you to feel at home in your body and feeling like your best self. That's what I am passionate about doing. And my clients who come to work with me learn how to manage this both emotionally and internally, and also physiologically through natural hormonal balance. I'm Amanda. I'm wishing you a fabulous Feeling Friday, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.